Hi, I'm Tori, I draw stuff, and this is a video I've been putting off making for the past 3, 4, 5 months. This entire past summer, I was like, I'm gonna make this video, and I was debating about doing a long form, close to my heart, deep conversation type video with art in the background, or just like a short funny video I could put on TikTok, but I decided I'm gonna do what I know best, and that's talk into my microphone without a script, edit it down, send it out to you guys, because that is what I know best. So, here is the history of the Tori Draws Stuff channel, slash what happened to Tori Draws Stuff, slash storytime draw my life video, because I grew up with draw my life videos and I want to make one. It's not really a draw my life, but this channel has been around for most of my life, so I think it'll be fun to have that going on in the background as I am talking at you guys about this. Tori's drawing stuff for this video. Tori has not been drawing stuff recently, and people would know this if you join the Discord server or follow me on TikTok, because I have a TikTok. I made a TikTok 2 years ago when the pandemic started, and I was like, when the pandemic's over, I'm gonna post all the videos from that here and delete it and then restart my TikTok account. But it has been 2 years, and I don't know when that's gonna be a thing, so I've given up on that idea. So if you want to find me on TikTok, Discord, or any of the social medias, links in the description. Okay, so first thing, when do you think I started making YouTube videos? You can check my channel if you want, if you're trying to sneak around, if you're trying to cheat this question. But I'll give you a hint. Out of these 4 options I put on screen, all of them are lies, because I started making videos in 2015. I was a 5th grader. Now, say about that what you want. If you couldn't tell by the fact that I was making YouTube videos in 5th grade, I had unrestricted internet access as a young child because I am in Gen Z, and I'm older Gen Z, and shocker, I was on the internet. I had my little slide phone, my little Verizon slide phone that it would never break. If I dropped it, the back would fall out and the battery would fall out, and that's all that would happen. That thing never died. In my Kindle Fire, I was not an iPad kid. There's a difference. I got my Kindle Fire when I was like 11 or 12. I was not a 5-year-old with that thing. But, you know, I was on YouTube. I found YouTube. I was watching Minecraft YouTubers and artists and speed paints and all the things. And somewhere along the lines, I was like, I want to make speed paint videos. Because I had been drawing my entire life, like childhood. I just was like, I like drawing, I like Monster High, I'm gonna draw Monster High, I like Bakugan, I'm gonna draw the characters Bakugan. Oh my gosh, I like drawing anime style now that I realized that that was anime. And that's just what I was doing. So I was like, let me try speed paint. So I tried doing daily YouTube video content, just like daily uploads. I did that for 3 days, and then immediately there was an I'm sorry video, me saying, oh my gosh, daily uploads are harder than I thought, especially when you're making them spontaneously that day with voiceover. So yeah, I did speed paints. I think I did weekly ones, or bi-weekly ones even, for years. And when I tell you that 20 views was my happy zone for views, I'm not lying about that. Like, when I started making YouTube videos, and how I would do this, I'd take my Kindle Fire, right? I would tape it to a lamp with packing tape, and I would use one of 2 free editing software apps on the Kindle Fire App Store, which that app store is more unhinged than any other app store imaginable. Android users, get out of here. You have not seen that Amazon Marketplace App Store. It is unhinged. There are some apps that are really bad, and then there's some that are just flat out illegal. Like, I got the full game of Citus, which is a really great rhythm game I highly recommend. I got it for free, and it's not supposed to be for free. It was just for free on accident on the Kindle Fire. So, that's how I would make videos. And, yeah. But yeah, no, I did that for years and years and years, and I moved a lot during middle school. So, I was moving maybe once or twice every year, just because of life things. So, art and YouTube kind of kept me distracted. But there was one other thing that will come into play later that kept me distracted, and that is a little thing called the Viola. That'll come into play later. Because, spoiler alert, I'm now a violist. But Viola and art is what kept me sane through all of middle school. And later on, I had my first exposure to a little game called Dungeons & Dragons. Around 8th grade, I had a sleepover with a friend, and it was her birthday, and she was like, hey, we're gonna play a game of Dungeons & Dragons, but it's gonna be based off of World of Warcraft. Would you guys be interested? And like, there was like 4 of us. We were just like, yeah, let's do it. And I think I played a Worgen Warlock. I remember I went feral one time and I stabbed one person, and that's all I did. And I remember my friend who was a druid tried arguing about why can't I use cure wounds and my druid powers to heal my neck skin up someone's boot after I've been stepped on. So obviously we didn't know how the game worked, but that was my first exposure to it. And then maybe a year or so later in high school, I was in a beginner art class because I was like, I'm taking beginner art to make my brain happy, even though I've been drawing for the past however many years. And I met a gang of people. Somewhere along the lines, they brought up their D&D character while we were sitting at the same table. And I was like, oh my gosh, Dungeons & Dragons, that's so cool. And the two of them immediately, their faces dropped and were like, do you play D&D? And like a liar, I said yes. I had never played a game of Dungeons & Dragons that was a real game before in my entire life. And I just said yes, because I was really interested, and I had no idea how to start. I had no idea how to start playing. And then there was this group of people that were like, you want to play D&D with us? And I was like, sure. So I went over to said friend's house. There was a whole gang of them, and the first thing that my mom heard when dropping me off was Jimmy put down the knife, which that friend group is probably watching this video. Love y'all. But it was a very unhinged first introduction to a high school Dungeons & Dragons group. But somewhere along the lines, in said Dungeons & Dragons group, I was at a birthday get-together. We were playing a game of D&D, like our normal campaign. One of my friends did something really unhinged, like, just jumping out of a cart to steal items that we needed for quests, and, And I was like, this is funny. I'm gonna make a D&D story video, because around that time, I started seeing some things in my YouTube recommended. I remember hearing of these new channels called, Dingo Doodles, and, Puffin Forest, and Zbashu, and, Joe Cat, and, there was a whole... If you couldn't tell, I'm alluding at the gang of D&D animators. Like, all of these people, if they were making videos around that time, I cannot remember. All I know is that I found my way into D&D YouTube, and I was like, let me make a storytime video. And this video did better than 20 views. If you couldn't tell. If you go and find this video now, which should be one of the first, if not the first video available to watch on my YouTube channel, it is the supply trip gone wrong video. And it kind of blew up. It was my first time ever using my digital drawing tablet, which at that point, like, I got that Christmas, because I was like, I want to try digital art, and I would sit at our home computer with my digital, like, Wacom tablet, and I would doodle my heart out in Fire Alpaca, because Fire Alpaca was free. I still use Fire Alpaca for anyone who's curious. Is it the best software? No. I just haven't found one that I like better. So yeah, at that point, it was like the summer before 10th grade year, and this video was doing kind of well. I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And I made a couple more speed paints. I made a sketchbook tour. I made a silly little animation thingy, which is since privated because it was for me and my friends, and I forgot people would actually watch that. For some reason, 4,000 people watched that, and it's not a good video, so it's privated. But later on, I was doing my thing. I got 400 subscribers, and I was making a special video about it. And then we got together for another friend's birthday, and Fortnite was like the big joke at the time because it was at its peak. The person has since now changed their name to Sammy, but because at the time they hadn't changed their name, their name was Nate at the time, and we called it Nate Night Battle Royale because it was their birthday. And that eventually was the D&D Battle Royale video that I made. And that blew up a lot. Like, a lot. Like, most of the people who follow me found me from that video a lot. And I was like, oh my god, what the heck is this? And I remember seeing people comment that I was like, I had followed them, and then they suddenly commented on my video, and I like pooed my pants. And then I was like, wow, I have a YouTube channel now. Huh. So I did a couple different things, I did some speed paints, I did a sketchbook tour, I did a stream at one point in 2019, I made more story times, and, I was like, let me challenge myself from the last story time, let me try doing a full color animated video. For anybody who doesn't know, if you do a full color animated video on the internet, you are literally a god. Yeah. That stuff is hard. That stuff is so hard. It's so freaking tricky to figure out. So I did that, and then I was like, my god, unless I'm really in the mood, I'm never doing that again, because that zapped all my energy. And then, I kept making content. That's just what I kept doing. And even at one point, one of my favorite videos on my channel is I was hanging out with my friends, but we went and we hunted snails one day, and that is one of my favorite videos I've ever edited on my channel. It's just us going on a snail hunt, and I think when I made that video after the Battle Royale video and the previous Storytime video, I got so many comments that were like, go back to your old content. And, no, kindly, I don't care if you are saying go back to your old content, because at this point, I had a realization. So you know how I mentioned that viola thing? I mentioned that silly instrument called the viola, not the violin, the viola. I mentioned it a lot. Well, around this time in my life, I had been playing viola in youth orchestras and stuff like that. I was local, I was taking private lessons, and I enrolled in a pre-college program. I was doing all this stuff, and I came to a trolley problem, where it was like, okay, your channel is doing well. Your channel is, like, growing. You are making views. They're probably dipping a little bit. But if you keep at it, you probably can just do YouTube full time. You can keep it going. You finally found a spark for it. Or you can go into viola. And I had to sit down and think. And eventually I decided to go into viola because I realized doing solo art jobs, for me personally, this is not for everybody. This is just me personally, and I don't speak for everybody who does art and animation. There's people that do it for a reason because they love it. And I love it too. But from working like for little to no pay for all these hours, I realized when I do big projects like this, I'm isolating myself. I self-isolate a lot. If I don't have the reason to talk to people, I don't. I kind of shut myself off in a little ball. And the retcon to that is I really like talking, and I really like talking to people and interacting with people. So isolating myself, my mental health goes in the gutter, but it's not like I can talk to people and work, because then I get distracted because ADHD. But, you know, I was working many, many hours. I didn't like the end result of my work. I never felt like accomplished when I was done with anything. I always felt tired, like I just want to sleep. I don't want to work on anything anymore. I want to take like a week break and then get back to it. And that's how I was. I just would feel exhausted from working on something for 8 hours straight. But with music, even if I didn't think I sounded that good and I played for 8 hours straight and I went to all these courses and rehearsals and all these things, I naturally had an endorphins kick. And the endorphins kick is so powerful that even now, like if I practice late at night, I cannot go to sleep until about an hour or two after I have done my practicing for the day. And I have to interact with people. And I like to interact with people. I get to teach, I get to perform, I get to do all these things. And at the end of a day, after working like a 12-hour day, I feel happy, which does not happen for everybody. Because my God, you can work 12-hour days and then not even get paid, not even get the proper credit hours for it. But it's rewarding. And that's kind of when I realized that I do want to go into music. I do want to do this. And after I realized that, I realized, oh my God, I am behind by like a lot. Like I'm really, really behind in comparison to my peers. Because a lot of people started at age 3 and they're like, I'm going to be a violinist. And then they become a violinist or violist or anything like that. Or even if they start later, because people will be like, oh, actually it doesn't matter when you start. I didn't start taking it seriously till halfway through 10th grade year. A lot of people started taking it seriously in 6th or 7th or 8th grade. I didn't. I had a year and a half to get college auditions. I had to do that. And I was like, oh my God. So I kicked it full into drive. And I started becoming less active on YouTube. Like, I still kept making videos and I still kept having little, like, milestones. But because of also having a double life as a student violist trying to audition for colleges while studying with 2 different teachers, being in a pre-college program, going to high school, and being in a couple different youth orchestras / all states at the same time, I was really busy all the time. So I started to have less time to draw. But then the panoramic hit, and I had a little bit more time to draw. But that's why videos started to become more sparse, is because I had to do college auditions, which, if you don't know how the college audition process works, college applications are hard. That is something people know, that is something people do. A normal person probably applies to like 2, 3, maybe 5 colleges. I applied to 10, and I'm the first person in like my immediate family, my stepdad didn't finish college because he didn't have enough money to. My mom never went to college, but she later went to beauty school. I'm like in my daily I see them family, I'm one of the first to go to college. So that's fun. So like my mom, who's with me everywhere all of the time, she didn't know how the hell to help me, but my high school teacher, who was like my high school private lesson teacher, her name is Erin, and I'm only mentioning that because I think she knows of my YouTube channel, and she is literally one of my favorite humans on this entire planet. I love her so much, and I would not be the person I am without her today. So I'm shouting her out in this video in case she watches however many minutes in. I doubt she will, but I'm just putting it out there. So I was doing college auditions. I had 10 colleges, and in comparison to a normal college application, where you send in your transcripts, you send in everything, right? You send in like a bunch of essays, a bunch of transcripts, you do a couple interviews, and that's it. And then you figure out if you get in or not. Maybe there's a second round or something like that, and that's hard. But imagine on top of that, having to write additional essays for the school you apply to, so schools of music / conservatories. Okay, a lot of schools do that too. Imagine having to do tapes. Not like athletic tapes where you're recording stuff of like you previously have done. I mean, you record 5 pieces which you've been practicing for months, if not a year beforehand. You send those in, and if you get through, then you can actually do the audition and not just the pre-screening. And then in the real audition, you send in another round of new tapes, and then you see if you get into college or not. And then maybe there's another interview after that too. And because it was COVID year, I had video auditions, I had Zoom auditions, I had live auditions, I had all kinds of auditions. And none of them were consistent at all. And like at least the big schools that I applied to, like most of them were video auditions. However, 2 of them were Zoom live auditions. And one of those Zoom live auditions I had, it's the conservatory I go to now. So I will not name said conservatory, but after college auditions and all of those things, I got into conservatory. But yeah, after all of that, after I found out where I'm going to college, that I am going to college, and cried on a D&D call, because yes, I was still playing with one D&D group through the panoramic, and I found out where I'm going to college in the middle of one of said games, and I cried to my friends. But I started making some YouTube videos again, and that's where all of the like D&D brain rot all the way till like the accident. That was all post college audition videos that I was making because I did not want to touch my viola with a 10-foot pole. I really didn't. And then also that summer, my brother got into an accident with a dirt bike, and I was not doing mentally that good. So I was like, I'm gonna make YouTube content. And that's why the channel got a little more active. And yeah, since then, there has been one upload because music degrees are hard. Music degrees are a lot. Like, I know a normal college semester credit-wise is probably about, like, 18 credits. I have to do 24 credits. I'm very busy. And then also there's this thing called the Summer Festival, which if you don't know what summer festivals are, it's a normal thing in orchestra musician, or just musician, not specifically orchestra, but just, like, if it's found in an orchestra, those kind of instruments, it's very common to audition for like a bunch of different things in the winter, like stress yourself out between like November, December, January. And then during the summer, depending on where you get in and who gives you money, you go study for like 4 to 6 weeks. And I went to a summer festival where I studied orchestra repertoire for 7 weeks straight. So it was a great time, but my God, I didn't want to make videos. And I kept being like, I'm going to make a video about me going to band camp in the woods. But I don't know if I'm going to do that because I realized how many people would find that video and then dox me. So I don't necessarily want to do that, but who knows, maybe I'll do a story time video about like my viola experiences if anyone would be interested in that, because then I can talk about band camp in the woods and I can talk about other silly things that have happened to me in the past. D&D wise though, I have kept playing D&D with my one group. We call our group the Midlands, and I made a couple videos over said group, so I was flying Fox Girl Cade because we play that game together, and that is what we do. However, we all get busy, so we're gonna try to make more time for it this year, but also our schedules are kind of gross. But that's our little like our D&D game. It's my one D&D game I'm playing currently. That's very close to my heart, and I love it. And it's very sad sometimes. We just had a session that was really sad and hit me in the feels really hard. But you know, that's where Ori's from. This little masked cleric character. I love her to death. Kyle has ruined her emotionally. That is our DM. Yeah, it's great. But you know, I've kept playing D&D through that, but there was like a gap. There's been a lot of gaps where I just haven't played D&D in a really long time. and I just didn't really have motivation to make D&D content when I wasn't playing D&D at all for months at a time. So that's why even in my off periods I wasn't making necessarily like YouTube content. However, I was making TikTok content because TikTok is short, and I think I'm probably going to upload a compilation of TikTok sometime soon to this channel, as much as I don't want to make a vertical video, because I hate the vertical format with like a passion. I don't like vertical videos on YouTube. I think I'm probably going to cave and make a vertical video of a bunch of TikToks. So that's fun. Anyways, I really appreciate it if you stuck to the end of this video, and I hope you found this interesting, just like a deep dive into the history of this channel, because it's been around since 2014, 2015, which I think you can see in the About tab, but I never, ever have thought to elaborate on that. But why not now, you know? Why not talk about, hey, I've been doing YouTube for a long time, but totally changed my course of action with videos. So, yeah, no, I'm a violist, so don't worry, I'm still gonna be making content on this channel. If anything, I actually have the part 2 of the sketchbook tour recorded. I just had not touched that footage with the 10-foot pole because it is a lot, but it does make me happy, so who knows, maybe I'll get in an editing kick and make a giant amount of YouTube videos and slowly release them as time goes on. Or I'll just have another 6 month not doing anything, 7 month not doing anything. So, we'll just see. But I really appreciate anyone who stuck around for the channel. I really appreciate all of the subscribers who have stayed through all of this. Also, if you find this video and you don't know who I am and whose channel is, and you click on it thinking it's a drama video, subscribe and ring the bell for more videos, because I don't upload that often and I will not be spamming your inbox. So, yeah, I really appreciate all the people who have stuck around. I really appreciate all the people in the Discord server who have stuck around even though I haven't been able to do movie night in over a year. It's really just means a lot that people still care about my channel, even though it's dead, if not dying, if not dead, because YouTube's not my job. It's not my job. As much as I could have taken advantage of it and made it a job, I decided no, I'm gonna do Viola, and that's what I love. It's the only reason why I'm not playing something in the background for this video right now is because I just went to the luthier, which is the person who makes violins. Apparently I had an open seam, but they didn't know till I picked up my instrument from its repairs, and then they just put a clamp on it and said, wait 2 hours. So I'm just kind of sitting here waiting for it to be okay again. But, yeah. So, like and subscribe if you want to. Let me know what kind of videos you'd want to see in the future. Let me know if you want to hear music stories. Let me know if you want to hear more D&D content, long form, short form, whatever. I have all kinds of ideas. I just need to actually finish my video ideas. But yeah, like and subscribe if you want to. And I'll see you in my next YouTube video. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you in my next upload. Bye!